WRAL weather alert days. Severe storms are creating the potential for flooding. Who's most at risk? And when temperatures creep up to dangerous levels.
Paved paradise. The trails are closed. Now a developer is moving in. What's next for Lake Crabtree Park's lost land and what the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes might have to do with it. Then wild North Carolina weather, flooding outside of floodplains, severe damage from non-tropical storms. We talked to our meteorologists about why it's happening more and what could be causing it.
Well, take a look at your screens. You got some scary looking clouds there on the left and the radar on the right. Another summer storm coming through our area tonight. We also have a live look over the DBAP. Do we? Can we pull it up? We don't? Don't call me a liar. You can, oh, that is the DBAP. Holy cow, I'm staring at the clouds. Come on, Dan, focus. You can see the storm moving to the northeast as we take a look at the radar. Thanks for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. Not quite a WRAL weather alert day, but the rain could be here for a little bit. Storm chances sticking around until about 9 o'clock. Let's send things over to Kat. Some downpours, some wind, all followed by some serious heat tomorrow, Kat.
Yes, tomorrow's going to be worse than today. It's going to be hotter. The storm chances and flooding threats will be a bit higher. That's why tomorrow's a WRAL weather alert day. Tonight, we've had a couple of stronger storms that have developed, but they haven't been widespread. Two cells that we're watching right now, these are northeast of the triangle and moving away from the triangle. One is moving into the Spring Hope community and out of Dunn. That should eventually track toward northern Rocky Mount and Dorches. We're also tracking a storm closer to Centerville. That is going to be making its way into Halifax County. Around the triangle, just a little bit of light rain left over near Garner. We do still have some light rain up toward Durham. There's a severe weather threat in our northern counties today. We've been telling you about that. Tomorrow, though, we're going to see that threat extend into the northeastern part of our area, and that'll come with some hot temperatures. The heat advisory will go into effect tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. and last until 8 o'clock. Heat index values are expected to be between 105 and 107. It's going to be hot, 97 degrees. I'll walk you through tomorrow's storm timing coming up.
All right, Kat, this is Brian Schrader in the WRAL Live Center. Kat just mentioned that storm that moved through southern Franklin County, and we have some power outages reported there. About 1,100 Wake Electric customers without electricity. Just to give you some idea here, this is Lewisburg. Bunn is over here. This is the Wake Franklin County line, and you can see that area right there with about 1,100 outages. According to the website here, it looks like lightning was the cause for most of those outages, and they're hoping to have power restored in the next hour or so.
All right, thank you, Brian. So hundreds are rallying in downtown Raleigh for voting rights. It's one of dozens of rallies nationwide called Making Good Trouble. It's an homage of late John Lewis. Monica Casey joins us live now from the front of the state capitol building. Monica.
Yeah, Dan, protesters marched here in about the last 30 minutes from the Halifax Mall area of downtown Raleigh. Now, we have seen signs about ICE and Donald Trump, but the focus here is voting rights and a bill in the North Carolina legislature. That's House Bill 958, which would prohibit county and state elections officials from publicly encouraging people to vote. This group of about 200 is against that bill and what it would do. We've been speaking with people about what has brought them out tonight in the heat and the rain. Take a listen.
Well, what else can we do? We can't vote right now, but we can show what we feel, and we can fight. This is one way to fight for it.
Now, we know state employees were encouraged to leave by 4 today ahead of any impacts from this protest. The protest has been peaceful, and state capitol police have shut down some streets for the march over here, but we're not seeing any major traffic impacts here in downtown Raleigh right now. Live in Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
All right, Monica, thank you. And we should say these Good Trouble rallies have taken place again all over the country and all over our state. This was the demonstration earlier this afternoon in Cary. That term, Good Trouble, was made famous by the late Congressman and civil rights leader John Lewis. Today marks 5 years since his passing. 2 candlelight vigils are planned later this evening in Cary. All right, we want to run you through some of the other big stories, the important headlines, and the 5 things you should know right now. A preliminary report from the NTSB says the plane that crashed and killed a Sanford family of 4 had electrical problems. The pilot contacted air traffic control shortly after takeoff, reporting those problems, but he kept flying, thinking it wasn't an emergency. The pilot's wife then later called to report a lack of navigational equipment. She called about engine trouble as well just before the crash. The plane crashed about 5 miles away from the Raleigh Executive Jetport. Travis and Candace Buchanan and their 2 children died in the crash. Today, Governor Josh Stein issued a state of emergency for communities hit by the flooding from Chantal. Covered 13 counties in the center of the state, including the damage that we have seen in Wake, Orange, Chatham, and Durham counties. The declaration makes certain funds available now to these areas as they work to recover. The Chatham County Sheriff wants you to stay off of Jordan Lake. 4 people have drowned there over the past month. The lake levels are high right now. There's debris floating. The currents are unsafe. So until things are sorted out, they say it's best to stay off of the lake for now. Raleigh police say thieves are targeting pickup trucks and cars with certain stickers, something they want you to keep in mind. Police recently getting some reports of more than 30 cars broken into at 5 places of worship of all places. Now police are searching for the suspect's vehicle. They say a black Infiniti was caught on surveillance video. An update on the road construction project in Apex. A town council member posted this new picture here of the work on Apex Peakway Southwest Connector. You can see the loop there at the base taking shape. It's slated to open next year. Construction on the bridge is also on the schedule. It's expected to open in 2027. Living in a community that's growing like ours means there's always something being built in our area, and we like to talk about that here at 7 o'clock. It's time for a developing story. Tonight we're taking a trip back to Lake Crabtree Park, or really the part of it that isn't a park anymore. The RDU Airport Authority has some ideas for that land that recently came back under its control, and it looks like Tom Dundon, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes, might be the one to make those ideas a reality. The Lake Crabtree Park saga has been in the news now for months. For years, RDU leased that land to Wake County for a bargain, and it turned into bike trails and walking paths, and people loved all of that. But a new FAA rule forced RDU to start charging market value, and the county could not afford that. So last month, those trails closed. RDU did lease a small part of the land back to Wake County for about $200,000 a year, but the big chunk there, the one you see shaded in orange on this map, that went back to RDU. That's the chunk of the land that we're talking about tonight. Today, RDU announced that they have a preferred developer for that bit of land, a company called Pacific Elm Properties. And Tom Dundon, who again owns the Canes, also owns Pacific Elm Properties. It's the same company that he's using as he is planning out this 200,000 square foot entertainment district right there, the Lenovo Center, something that probably won't be finished until 2030, but you can see some of the renderings and the ideas they have there. Now, Pacific Elm could be the ones to develop RDU's land that used to be that part of Lake Crabtree Park, something that RDU wants to be a recreation and wellness destination. These are the renderings of what it could possibly look like. There are some really interesting things in here, some buildings surrounded by what looks like an artificial river, a shopping and dining complex with a zip line overhead, even an ice skating rink with a Christmas tree in the middle. And this one has a zip line too. Big zip line, people. I feel like you're just here for the zip line. I guess there are endless possibilities, really. I mean, recreation and wellness, not really super specific, and it sounds like keeping the bike trails is a possibility as well. RDU Airport Authority President writing in a statement, Pacific Elm Properties shares our vision of building an innovative destination that serves outdoor enthusiasts and supports the increasing demand for air travel at RDU. But did you catch that? That first part, outdoor enthusiasts, and that sounds like that could mean bike riders. I don't know. Maybe. One thing is for sure, though, you're going to have a say in what will happen next. RDU says that public input will be part of the planning process. There are 3 upcoming workshops that anyone can attend, August 19th, September 23rd, and October 21st. They didn't say where those workshops are going to take place or what time, but of course we are going to let you know. Those details will come out a little later. What I think you can take from all of this is that the people in charge appeared to have listened to the community. I mean, we saw people going to meetings, weeks of them, speaking to reporters about how much they loved that park and they wanted it to remain. Remember, Lake Crabtree has been the most visited park in Wake County. And RDU really didn't have to lease any portion of it back to the county at all, but they did. They don't have to keep the bike trails, but it looks like they might keep them anyway. So I get it. Many people will say they don't want to see anything change. They don't want to see any development on that land, and that this silver lining just isn't good enough, and that's fair. But I think it's also fair to say that those people's voices weren't entirely ignored. Just something to remember next time a development is planned in your neighborhood and you're debating whether or not to speak up.
Stories of the past couple of weeks. We have seen flooding all over the country this month, and not all of it was because of tropical systems. So why are we seeing so much rain in North Carolina and everywhere else? We're going to talk about it coming up. There has been a head-spinning amount of flooding this month, and not just in North Carolina. Texas, New Mexico, Chicago, New York, New Jersey, Missouri. The Texas floods were from the remnants of a tropical storm. The flooding in our area was from a tropical depression. In parts of Chapel Hill, it was still more rain than what we saw from Hurricane Fran. But it doesn't always take a tropical system to cause major flooding. Earlier this week, New Jersey and New York saw one of the most intense storms in their history, wreaking havoc on airports, subways, roads, and more. And all that rain had nothing to do with a tropical storm. Also, you don't have to be in a floodplain to get bad damage. 43% of repeatedly flooded North Carolina buildings are outside FEMA flood zones. All this to say, we are dealing with more dangerous rain events. But why? Why have we had so much rain here in North Carolina this month? Raleigh has already more than doubled its normal monthly rainfall. Kat, explain what's going on here.
Well, the jet stream setup, when we look at the big picture here, here's what we've got going on. The ridge is to our west, so that means that we don't have the sinking air that keeps the storms from forming during the summer months. Instead, we're not getting any fronts here, so we are just stuck in this hot, humid, stormy pattern. So we've got a lot of energy in these storms, and they're able to dump some pretty intense rainfall with impressive rates.
And Kat, we are not even near the peak of hurricane season.
Nowhere near the peak of hurricane season. That comes during the month of September 10th to be exact. We do often see the activity go up, though, as we head into the month of August. And when you look at the monthly flash flood reports, August and September both average more flash flood reports across central North Carolina. So we still have a long ways to go for this season.
Kat, thank you. If you don't have flood insurance because you're not on a floodplain, here is something you need to know. FEMA's flood maps are outdated. They rely on 1970s data. WRAL climate change reporter Liz McLaughlin has been looking into this and more. Liz, these maps just aren't outdated. They are decades old.
Exactly. Our flood blueprints are modeled from the 1970s. So it really only takes rivers and coastal flooding into account and really ignores small waterways that now overflow and doesn't take climate change into account. So people are really underestimating their risk. And a UNC study that just came out this week showed that of the buildings across the state that repeatedly flood, 43% were outside of those mapped zones. So people are really underestimating their risk. Then they're underinsured and blindsided when the water pours in.
And this is really important information when considering over the last few decades, there's been increasing intensity in rainfall.
Exactly. And just in the Triangle area, about 21% higher rainfall intensity than we saw in 1970. So that means more rain in less time. And then warmer air also holds more moisture. So for every 1 degree Celsius of warming, 7% more water vapor. Warmer ocean temperatures are also a factor here because that gives storms more fuel. So something like Chantal, even though it was downgraded to a tropical depression, it can still dump hurricane levels in just a single day.
Wow. Liz, thank you. The climate is changing. Our maps and infrastructure may not be keeping pace, but you can. There are still simple steps you can take right now to make sure you are prepared. Contractors showed us what to look for around the house before a storm hits. We've highlighted tools and alerts you can sign up for to stay informed. And if the worst does happen, 5 on Your Side has extensive reporting on how you can respond. All of these stories are on the WRAL YouTube page and WRAL.com.
Thank you to Ashley. Meteorologist Kat Campbell joining us now as weather continues to move through the area.
And luckily, things are dying down. We do still have a couple of thunderstorms that are more intense. These are approaching Rocky Mount, Dorches, and I-95 right now. We've also got a storm crossing in Halifax, Durham. The rain starting to push east of you. Andrew, just a light shower. And north of 540, we've got a little bit of rain. But boy, it's been a busy month. We have had more than double the normal rainfall during the month of July and counting at REU. A very active month on the radar. We are not done yet. Today, there was a low-end threat for flooding. Tomorrow and Saturday, that threat will ramp up a little bit. A medium risk for flooding in parts of our area Friday. And that threat does include the triangle, that medium risk on Saturday. We see the risk go down, though, by Sunday and Monday. Let's talk about futurecast. For the rest of tonight, the radar should die down. There could still be maybe an isolated storm west of us right now that makes it here. But by tomorrow morning, we'll wake up to quieter weather likely. And then during the afternoon, notice this front. It gets closer to us. It's a front finally closing in on us, but it never actually passes through. However, because of its proximity to us, we do have more wind shear, and that's the ingredient that thunderstorms use to strengthen and organize. So we could have some stronger storms pop up tomorrow afternoon and evening, especially from Raleigh north and east, and they'll be slow movers, so there could be some localized flooding there as well. Here's the severe weather threat at level 1 out of 5 risk due to the damaging wind concern. But outside in Fenton tonight, there were a couple of rounds of rain earlier. Things have quieted down for us. A pretty nice evening. I walked outside to my car a short time ago, though, and I have to tell you, it is steamy outside. I felt like the air just instantly stuck to my skin when I stepped outside. Just keep that in mind. Even though the temperatures did drop to 83, the heat index at 88, it is just a steamy feeling 88. And in Clinton, it's 86 with the heat index still at 104, still feeling like 102 degrees in Goldsboro. You know that it is hot and humid when the low temperature is in the upper 70s. This is about as bad as it gets this time of year. Occasionally we'll have a low of 80, but 79, still pretty top of the line there. 75 in Roxborough tonight, 79 also for Fayetteville, 77 in Southern Pines with partly to mostly cloudy skies. The heat index forecast hour by hour tomorrow. By noon, likely to already be in the triple digits, exceeding 105 during the afternoon hours. By dinner time, the heat index still hovering right around the 100-degree mark, though we will have some scattered storms that could temporarily provide some relief out there. Just keep in mind, similar to today, it's not much relief because of how steamy it feels outside after the rain. Tomorrow is the WRAL weather alert day. Saturday is as well. We anticipate a heat advisory on Saturday, and there's also that medium risk for flooding. Once we get to Sunday, storm coverage may go down a little bit for us. Monday and Tuesday of next week, more isolated storms, but by the middle of next week, we could be in for just a tiny bit of a pattern change. It may not be quite so stormy. That comes with a little bit of a dip in temperatures and perhaps a little dip in humidity as well. Many models are showing lows in the 60s now. We want to give it a day, make sure this still holds, but that would be the first time this month that we've had a low in the 60s. If that pans out, Dan.
I don't remember what that feels like. It's going to be great. Hopefully we get it, Kat. Thank you. And when those storms pop up in your area, show us what you see. Help us to tell the story in your area. Take a picture, shoot some video, and send it to us at WRAL.com/report it. Or go to Report It. It's a section on the WRAL website or the news app. You can upload everything right there. So this week we answered a viewer question about Governor Stein's fashion decisions, and it turns out he's not much of a tie guy. Well, the governor saw our segment, and he's got something to say about it. It's your one last thing after the break. Ready for the weekend. There's so much going on out and about. One last thing to talk about tonight. We get all kind of responses and viewer feedback here at 7 o'clock. We love it. And earlier this week, we did a mailbag segment tackling all kinds of things. We talked rattlesnakes, cloud seeding, and Governor Josh Stein's fashion sense. There was a viewer, and she wanted to know if Stein ever wears a tie. I mean, we looked into it. He does wear a tie every now and then, but most of the time, the governor's keeping it pretty cash out there. Well, there was another viewer apparently who saw that and then reached out to discuss the topic, and it just happened to be Governor Stein himself. He posted a clip from this week's mailbag segment. He wrote on X, "Sometimes keeping it casual, but always taking care of business." First of all, good response, good response. Second of all, I got to feel this. I just want to feel what it feels like, Gov. I mean, if he can do it, I mean, he sets the example. He's the leader of the state. I mean, I tried this once when I first started working here, took my tie off and did a little segment. I was brand new. News director called me in immediately after, yelled at me, got in trouble. But now that you've done it, now that you've taken a no-tie stance, I think we go for it. I think we make this a new thing. Will I be wearing a tie back on the air tomorrow? 100%. Will I get yelled at tonight? Possibly. We're going to find out. In the meantime, I want to appreciate you at home for being here with us tonight, making WRAL News your choice for local news. Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock on Fox 50 and at 11 on WRAL. Maybe we'll have like no tie Fridays or something. We'll talk about it.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air channel 34 and Spectrum channel 1257.